Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a news edition. These are the headlines. The acting Prime Minister, Sifi Gharib, chairs a work meeting on the organization of the regional fairs in the big provinces and the local fairs, as well as school supply selling points. The Minister of Communication, Mohamed Mziane, organizes an information day on the preparations of the upcoming 4th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair. The public television enterprise mobilizes important human and material resources to ensure complete media coverage of the Intra-African Trade Fair. And the genocide is still ongoing in Gaza as the Zionist entity intensifies its barbaric attacks aiming at eradicating the Palestinian people. Welcome back. The government is actively preparing for the start of the school year. The acting Prime Minister, Sifi Gharib, chaired on Sunday at the government's palace a work meeting on the organization of the regional fairs in the big provinces and the local fairs, as well as school supply selling points in order to provide products with affordable prices for the families. This decision was taken in accordance with the President of the Republic's instructions, who insists on the necessity of ensuring the best conditions for the upcoming start of the school year. This meeting was attended by the Minister of Interior, Local Communities and Regional Planning, the Minister of Foreign Trade and Exports Promotion, the Minister of Local Trade and National Market Regulation, the General Director of the Algerian Agency for Investment Promotion, and the President of the Council of the Algerian Economic Renewal. The Minister of Communication, Mohamed Mziane, organized on Sunday at the International Conference Center Abdellatif Rahal an information day on the preparations of the upcoming 4th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair, as well as on its impact. Chaired by the Minister of Communication, Mohamed Mziane, with the presence of the Commissioner of the 4th edition of the IATF, L'Arabi Latrash, and the expert in strategy and sustainable development, Mouloud Khalif, this meeting gave the reporters and the media professionals more details on the expected investments, the industrial diversification, and the intra-African exchange and integration perspectives. We'll listen to the Minister of Communication.
Algeria is preparing to host the Intra-African Trade Fair 2025. For the country, this is an important economic event that represents an opportunity to strengthen Algeria's position as a gateway for trade and complementarity among the countries of our continent.
Mohamed Mziane followed closely the logistic preparations to ensure a perfect media coverage of this event. Accompanied by the General Director of the Public Television Company, Mohamed Baghali, the Minister of Communication visited the Algerian Television's Pavilion, an institution that mobilized important human and material resources to ensure complete coverage of this economic event. The public television is now ready to ensure complete coverage of this intra-African trade fair with a high level of professionalism, as important human and material resources have been mobilized. All the conditions are available for the success of this event. Najah Tiyar with the details.
The access of major events like the 4th edition of the Intra-African Trade Fair depends greatly on strong promotion and consistent media coverage before, during and after the event. And to achieve this, the Algerian television has dedicated extensive resources to ensure thorough reporting of every aspect. The channel's programming schedule has been tailored to align with the rhythm and significance of this continental gathering.
Algerian television has put enormous resources at the disposal of the public to contribute to the success of this major African event. Today, our resources are in place for Algerian television to play its part in its success of this continental event. Of course, Algerian television cannot afford to miss such an important date for Algeria.
Thus, ensuring outstanding media coverage that reflects the scale of the event is a priority for the Algerian television. So a fully equipped media space was set up for operations, in addition to a studio for hosting prominent figures attending the event, as well as other equipment for live broadcasting and comprehensive coverage of every aspect of the fair.
A special program has been developed to follow this economic forum, covering all the economic content linked to the event. Several television channels will join in to ensure its success. One new program is Africa News, broadcast daily at 7 p.m. throughout the event. It will feature Algerian guests and speakers from across Africa in French, English, Portuguese and Spanish. The Technical Directorate of the Algerian television has mobilized all technical and human resources. Coverage includes a digital bus with 10 cameras and the broadcast station to ensure full coverage of this major African event.
To deliver a comprehensive and high-quality coverage, the Algerian television deployed significant human and logistical resources, and this effort reinforces its role as a central information hub, not only across the continent, but also on the global scale.
On the sidelines of the IATF 2025, Algeria is betting on investment to strengthen its role in the African Continental Free Trade Area. The Algerian Investment Promotion Agency will host a summit of African agencies aimed at improving the business climate, boosting capital flows, and fostering cooperation through innovation and digital transformation. Raya Al-Bahri with the details.
Improving the business climate in Algeria by developing a roadmap to encourage investment. This approach is reinforced by the political will of the country's senior authorities, who are working towards genuine African integration. Strengthening South-South partnership within the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Area by increasing the flow of intra-African investment and trade will be the main theme of the first day of the IATF. On the sidelines of this event, the Algerian Investment Promotion Agency will organize a summit bringing together African investment promotion agencies. Under the theme, African investment promotion agencies serving sustainable growth through innovation, digital transformation, and integration into global value chains. This is an Algerian investment promotion agency initiative through which we demonstrate the international and African dimension of our agency and its role in promoting investment. These are all signs pointing to the success of this session, which will see a high-quality participation. The expected international participation and Algeria's position as host country, given its economic weight and central role in the development and integration process in Africa, should guarantee a resounding success for this continental event.
The social return in France will be marked by a deep political and economic crisis. Mounting debt, institutional instability and growing social frustration are fueling uncertainty among the French people. More details with Daniel Bahri.
France is facing an unprecedented political crisis, leaving citizens frustrated and angry over the deepening political and economic turmoil. Surveys show that more than 69% of French people favor dissolving parliament if the government fails to address mounting criticism. Large-scale protests are expected on September 10th. I think it's a constitutional and institutional problem. Everything needs to be reshuffled. At the same time, France's public debt has reached the highest level in Europe, raising fears of a possible IMF intervention in the coming months. Leading figures such as Eric Lombard have already warned of this risk, while Public Accounts Minister Amélie de Montchalin issued alarming remarks last June, warning that without the right decision, the IMF and European institutions could impose financial supervision on the country.
Personne n'y comprend plus rien.
Nobody understands anything anymore. People are disillusioned. There isn't really hope placed on one leader or another. Some activists remain very committed and active, but overall public opinion is passive. People feel they can't do much to change anything. What we need to keep in mind is that once financial markets start putting pressure on the debt, once they fear France can't manage its budget, things can escalate very quickly and the country can completely lose control. Meanwhile, debate over the nation's economic crisis is intensifying on social media, as Prime Minister François Bayrou describes the situation as national emergency fueled by fiscal imbalance and excessive debt.
The Moroccans continue their protests to denounce the Makhzen for helping the Zionist entity by granting port access to the Zionist military ships, a betrayal of both Palestinian and Moroccan peoples. Najah Tiyar has more details.
The ships of the Zionist entity carrying military equipment meant to annihilate innocent civilians in Gaza have turned the port of Tangier into a disgraceful symbol for Morocco, a stain of shame caused by its desecration. We came today, as always, to stand in solidarity with our Palestinian brothers who are being killed every day. We continue to denounce the normalization. As Moroccans, we reject and disown the normalization. Despite their voices wearing thin from relentless cries, Morocco's free and honorable citizens continue to speak out, condemning the Makhzen's submission and complicity with the Zionist entity, which persists in carrying out genocide in Gaza. We want an end to the normalization and the downfall of the Makhzen, and we are not afraid to say it now. The repeated use of Morocco's ports as secure routes for the Zionist war and extermination machine underscores the Makhzen's complicity, an act of betrayal not only against the Palestinian cause, but also against its own people.
And another deadly strike in the Gaza Strip. 11 Palestinians were murdered, including 5 children, and tens of others are stuck under the rubble, which proves once again the intention of the Zionist entity to eradicate the Palestinian people. Najah Tiyar.
In Gaza's western Nasser neighborhood, a new massacre has claimed the lives of 11 Palestinians, including 5 children. The victims were waiting near a tent where bakers were preparing bread when missiles struck the area, reducing their fragile bodies to unrecognizable remains. We were kneading dough under the tent. Suddenly, missiles fell on us. Most of the victims are children. This latest massacre has deepened the atmosphere of fear and grief. Heartbroken families mourn their children taken in the bloom of life, bringing the number of child martyrs to 18,000 since the start of the war. The anguish of these families speaks volumes about the genocidal nature of the conflict waged by the Zionist occupier in blatant violation of human rights and international law. The assault not only escalates the toll of Palestinian victims, but also blocks life-saving medicine and food supplies, plunging Gaza into an unprecedented famine. As if this brutality were not enough, the occupier persists with its military offensives, now threatening a full-scale ground invasion of Gaza. There are many wounded, but no medicine or equipment to treat them. Here, the fate of the injured The world is witnessing the brutal reality of these Zionist entities' actions against the innocent Palestinian people, leaving no room to conceal its true intentions. This war spares no one: children, women, the young and the elderly. All are targets, even journalists, including our correspondent in Gaza, who have become deliberate victims for revealing the truth since the conflict erupted on October 7th, 2023.
And with these painful images, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.